Welcome to the Days Out Travel Special here in Fuerteventura. Join us as we explore this wonderful destination which is part of the Canary Islands. In this episode we visit the famous sand dunes, travel to Corralejo and Costa Calma, take lunch in a beautiful remote spot before visiting a couple of museum attractions. We stayed in the glorious Sheraton Fuerteventura in Caleta De Fuste, situated near the airport. An absolutely fantastic hotel with great restaurants, great amenities and even better staff, one to highly recommend. With so much to explore on the island, what is it like to get around and what would we recommend? So here in Fuerteventura there's lots of transport options. There's electric bikes, e-scooters, you can walk around at will, but probably the best way to explore the island is to hire yourselves a car. Whilst I wouldn't normally do this, EcoCar have been absolutely fantastic. Ordered it online, delivered this morning, bang on time. £36 a day hire. All you've got to do is add your fuel and you're away. So we're going to go and have a couple of days exploring the island, see what it brings, and I've even put Mrs H as the second driver. What could possibly go wrong? Driving is an absolute pleasure in Fuerteventura. The roads are really well maintained and there's not much traffic about. It is perfect for taking a leisurely drive and admiring the stunning scenery. Most hire car companies do not cover you to go off-road, so stick to the tarmac roads and you will be fine. So just a short drive from our hotel, we come up the road here towards Corralejo, and en route you can stop off at the sand dunes, and it's quite stunning actually. The scenery around here is brilliant. You've got the sea down obviously below, and then for as far as the eye can see you've got sand dunes that are ever changing. Makes a great stop off as you travel in towards Corralejo. So we've stopped off this morning in Corralejo, which is on the northern tip of the island, just for a quick coffee. Now, my first impressions of this is like any other seaside town, pretty much anywhere in the world. So there's lots of bars and restaurants that you can go into, not really our scene. So we're going to head inland now and go more into the centre of the island just to see what that brings, see if we can find a nice little place for lunch and just understand the difference between inland and the coast. So we've come inland to this small, delightful little village, Olivia. I don't know how they pronounce it, but it's glorious. And we found this place. And this is why you should travel off the beaten track, because we found this cheese shop here and it has just got everything you can imagine. All of the produce in here is local, either from Fuerteventura or the other Canary Islands. Some of it's from Spain. The service is just fantastic. We wanted somewhere to eat locally, off the beaten track, and the owner of this place has spent some time explaining where some of the best places to eat are, where the locals eat. That's why you should get off the beaten track. Don't go to all of the tourist locations. Go off the beaten track, come to some of the places like this, and just take in what this shop has to offer. To not explore Fuerteventura is to miss out some quite simply stunning scenery. The dry, arid landscape is at complete odds with the hustle and bustle of the tourist towns. Our short drive along the well-maintained and easy-to-navigate roads took us off the beaten track to Los Molinos, a tiny village cut off from seemingly everywhere. It has a few houses, a stunning beach and an even more stunning restaurant with great views. Mainly populated by locals, this is a great place to come and experience some of the real Fuerteventura. We opted for the fresh fish platter, which was divine. After stuffing our faces on fresh fish, we spent some time admiring the views and relaxing on this beautiful coastline, just watching the waves and enjoying the warmth of the sun. It was just perfect. After enjoying the lunch and the views, we headed back to our hotel for a freshen up before hitting the town for the night. Caleta De Fuste has lots of bars and restaurants suiting all tastes and budgets. It is worth exploring as there are some fantastic restaurants down every street with every different type of cuisine. No evening is complete in Caleta De Fuste without a visit to Piero's bar for a great cocktail or a cold beer. Of course, I wanted an early night because day 2 was museum day. Hello and welcome back. Another glorious day, barely a cloud in the sky. The temperature is already very warm and it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. Definitely worth getting out and about. There's some beautiful scenery to be seen here. And we've stopped here at the Cheese Museum. Let's see how interesting cheese can actually be. Apart from being bright and airy, you will also notice that a lot of this museum is dedicated to the history of the island, not so much the history of the cheese. The staff are on hand to answer any questions and we felt it had a really nice feel to it. I also noticed just how popular it is. So with this being a cheese museum, the one thing we haven't seen yet is any history on the cheese making. It's all about to change in that building there, which goes through the different types of goats that they use and the cheeses they produce. So let's go and see how cheese is made. The cheese making section walks you through the process and explains the different types of famous goat's cheese produced on the island. If you like what you see, then head across to the on-site cafe and ask to try some of the cheeses. You will not be disappointed. The Majorero cheese is world renowned. And once you've finished in the cheese museum, you come out here into the cactus garden, which is just absolutely rammed full of every different type of cactus. Just look at the size of some of these cacti. With another stunning drive, it was time for something a bit calmer, Costa Calma. So we've just taken a really pleasant drive along the mountains, through some very windy roads, and we've ended up here. A little bit of paradise, Costa Calma, right on the south part of the island, and just have a look at that amazing view. Fantastic beach, crystal blue waters, and a very calm atmosphere compared to the resort areas that we went to yesterday. So we got back on the road to visit another museum, and a rather unusual one at that. Right, I just want to bring you the definition of disappointment. So we went to the Cheese Museum earlier, and now we're at the Museum of Salt.
Yay!
What could possibly go wrong? The Salt Museum, much like the Cheese Museum, gives a good overview of the history of Fuerteventura, including the salt trade, which made the island rich in exports, particularly to Africa, where salt was used in many rituals. Using visual displays and a guided walkway outside, it makes for a pleasant time. You can see the salt flats as you walk outside and see them in the various stages of harvesting. If we had to choose, then the Cheese Museum is probably the better of the two if you're only looking to visit one of the attractions. However, the Salt Museum does have some furry friends wandering around, and also this rather strange skeleton of a fin whale that was washed up on the beach. So we finished on the salt flats at the Salt Museum. I don't think it's as good as the Cheese Museum, if I'm honest, but that said, it's quite fascinating to see how it's produced, and they're still producing it to this day, so it's probably still worth a visit. So now it is absolutely roasting hot, so we're going to stop off, grab some cold beers and relax. After a very hot day, it was time to refresh in the hotel before a glorious meal back in Hopscotch to reflect on a pleasant couple of days. So as our trip to Fuerteventura comes to a close, the question is it suitable for everyone? And in short, I think it is. If you want a flop and a drop where you stay in one hotel and perhaps don't leave the complex, then there's plenty to choose from. If you want to stay in just one resort like Caleta De Fuste, where we are here, then you can easily do that with plenty of bars and restaurants and great beaches to stretch out on. But if you really want to see Fuerteventura for its true beauty, then my suggestion would be to get into the island, travel around, maybe hire a car. The scenery here is breathtaking, and you can't see it from this coastline, but once you go inland and see the real Fuerteventura, it really is a beautiful, beautiful island. Thanks ever so much for watching, and if you've enjoyed what you've seen, don't forget to hit like, subscribe and ding the bell for more notifications on the Days Out Travel channel.